One of the main problems with the DSM is that things may be diagnosed which are not at all illnesses, in which there has been no causal demonstration of the symptoms being observed to any specific brain disorder. And the other problem is that, in fact, it may fail to really diagnose what the true problem is, if there's a problem with the culture. This book is not about the culture. And so it may make a diagnosis of a massive social kind of syndrome like ADHD without ever touching on what I believe are the real causes. And that's a very serious problem. When you talk about the amount of money and the amount of power that the pharmaceutical industries have in acting on DSM diagnoses, effectively producing substances which are going to be administered to millions of people by a system that we have to trust, then we are really on very thin ice. People talk about epidemics. This, depression is a word that's used very unreflectively, very uncritically. It can mean a whole range of things. Some of them serious, and some of them, the word is being used inappropriately. Epidemic is used in this way too. We have all kinds of epidemics in Western civilization. We have epidemics of divorce. We have epidemics of erectile dysfunction. We have epidemics of unhappiness. We have epidemics of ADHD among our youth. If people are going to use the word epidemic, they ought to be aware of the word epidemiology, which means tracing the causes and the communicability of the thing that they think they're identifying. So what is this ADHD? Anyway, how could we end up having, is it something they're putting in the water? We have 15 million kids with attention deficit disorders. Excuse me, we live in a culture in which children from cradle to grave firstly are reared on television and video games, which erode attention span. Television destroys attention span. Kids are hooked up to virtual realities, which are completely eroding their capacities for normal social function. Japan has the same problem too, by the way, because they're on the leading edge of these technologies, although they have a very different set of standards in their country. We see consonance here because of the technologies. So children are being brought up in a technological environment, like we call it a technocracy, government by technology. It's a technocracy in which they're exposed for hours on end. The average in the US is that kids are watching about 5 hours of TV a day. The TV's on, all day and all night in most American households. It's destroying their attention spans. They're not reading and writing and learning in the traditions which fostered the strength of Western civilization. Instead, they've been deconstructed. Another factor, so their attention spans are diminished instead of increased. By the time they're ready to sit still in school and pay attention, they haven't got the cognitive development to do it. They're actually cognitively impaired and socially impaired. That's one set of factors. Another is, and now I speak as an educator, the education system's been totally deconstructed. The content that's being delivered in school is vacuous. So schools are worried about the self-esteem of children and not about what they're learning. This is another great danger. And then another factor is, and I'm sure boys are more susceptible to ADHD than our girls, manhood has been devalued. Radical feminism has destroyed the virtues of manhood, and men are definitely an endangered species in this civilization. It's another reason why our civilization is weak, because it's become feminized and effete. And one result of this is that boys are being punished for being boys. There isn't enough discipline, and there isn't enough opportunity for them to let loose and channel their abundant energies in constructive pathways. Instead, they're being drugged. This is sad, and it's also catastrophic.